Right, I'm going to put some of this back in here again because I'm just going to need, for now, I need the hair. And I will show you how to give the fairy this lovely hairdo. Now the fairy that I've prepared hasn't got a face embroidered on her. So we do have a tutorial for that as well. So you can look that up another time. So what happens with all of the hair that we attach to the fairies, we tend to start by framing the face because that seems sort of a vital part of the fairy to get that straight, to get that right straight off. And all I need is a felting needle now. Oh, I'm just going to use the one from the kit here, right. I have got one here, but I think that's a coarse one and I really don't want a coarse one. Let's use the one from the kit to prove it works. And all you're going to do is you're felting the start off by just stabbing the end of the yarn into the side of the head. You don't have to cut anything off. You can literally just use the yarn as it is and work your way around the fairy's head. Now just stab it in as you go. You've got plenty of this, so you don't need to be stingy in any way or form. Make sure you cover the head well. Remember, you've got a wire running through the top of the head, so try and avoid stabbing into that straight on, and work your way around the side of the head. And then what I do is I usually go onto the other side because I want to make sure that the head is the face is framed first. So I'm working my way around the other side, and all I'm doing is I'm just taking the yarn as I need it and stab it into the head as I'm going around the head. You can also sort of lay it out so that you cover a larger area by just laying it out like that when you get to a broader area that you want to cover faster. I love this color as well. It is a beautiful sort of auburn color hair that goes perfectly with this maybe quite hot-headed love fairy that holds the key to somebody's heart. So maybe this is the time to make it for somebody, or maybe you remember somebody by making this. Maybe you've got some very fond memories of somebody, or maybe you just want to tell somebody you love them. Why not? It doesn't have to be Valentine's Day. Let's do it any day, every day. So you can see I am stabbing into the head, but I don't actually need a felting mat because I'm not going that deep. And I'm starting to build now the back of the head up. So at the moment you don't know what's the front and what's the back, but in a minute you will know because I'm covering all of the back now. Make sure you lay the fairy down so that she doesn't get too much pushed out of shape, and just cover all of the head on the back now. So you especially if you've embroidered into the face, you will have the end bits of the embroidery thread coming out at the back of the head, so you really want to make sure that that is covered well, and you don't suddenly see a bit of red or brown poking through. So cover all of the back, and I'm just doing it as I go along. Like I said, you have got plenty of this bouclé yarn, bearing in mind we will do like a top knot on like a little bun on the fairy as well, so maybe don't go completely crazy on it, but definitely you have enough to cover the head consistently. There we go. So now you have made the head, covered the back of the head. If you want to make the face smaller, you can do this still with the yarn, the bouclé yarn that you've got here. Just bring it to the front, stab it in. It's really easy to use this because it's very forgiving. And then you can actually, if you want to make the face a little bit smaller, you can frame it a bit closer to the face. Put the hair around like a frame. So you can do this later still. We will be giving her a bit of a fringe as well, or you don't have to, but you can. But for now what I'm doing is I'm just going to finish it here, cut the bouclé yarn for the first time. There you go. She's now got a quite a short hair cut, and now I'm going to use the new end of the yarn. I'm going to wrap this around one finger, or maybe 2 fingers, whatever works for you, to roll it into literally into a ball like that, and then give it a few wraps so that it goes around. And then you put this on top of her head and you felt that down just so that you've got it established. Stab around the edges. I haven't cut this, the yarn off. I'm just giving her this sort of top bun, or you can put it further towards the back of the head. She doesn't have to have it on top of her head. And then you can go around it a little bit more. So make it a bit more like a bun and stab it down again. Stab all over. Doesn't need a lot of stabs because it's not going to be like a solid feature on top of her head. Cut the yarn off. You still got some yarn left, so if you want to give her sort of some longer strands on the side of the head, you can do that too. Just stab these in individually and let them hang down a bit longer and cut them off, so as if she's got quite a messy hairdo. And you can do this all around, and then to finish her her hair off, you can just use a tiny, you separate this out at the beginning, it tells you in the instructions, but you use a tiny bit of this beautiful yarn, just a small strand, because you also have to separate a bit out of this to tie around her waist for to tie the top together that you put over her. And all you do is you just wrap that around her bun a couple of times if it's long enough, or maybe just once, and then just knot it on one side so it looks like she's just in a rush tied her messy hairdo together. And there she is. She's got a top bun here. You can put it further to the back if you want to, but this is basically how she will look like, especially if you give her a little face. On this one here, I've made her, I've brought the wool in even a bit more, which of course you can still do because I've still got wool left here, and just and frame her face a little bit smaller. This is your design. You do what you like. You can give her a fringe as well, and that's basically how you attach the bouclé yarn, which is what we're using here. It's a bouclé mohair yarn. We do sell this separately for our doll making supplies, but it's also working really well for anything to do with fairies and giving them some hairdo. It comes in different colors, so that's basically what you do by attaching the bouclé mohair yarn onto the fairy to give her a lovely hairdo.